Eid Mubarak, everyone, and welcome back to Tea Transitions. Today's episode is a little extra special because we're bringing you behind the scenes of how we celebrated Eid right here in Virginia, far from home for both of us, but surrounded by a community. Specifically, this time we were with the Singapore and Malaysian community that feels just like family. I'm Rosie.
Hi, I'm Farah. Welcome. Eid Mubarak and Selamat Hari Raya belatedly. As Rosie mentioned, we recently celebrated Eid and we just wanted to bring a segment of how it is celebrated here. It's very much similar to how we do it back home, but some people back home tell us that it's even more celebrated here than back home, believe it or not. So, Rosie, go ahead.
So today we want to share the moments, the flavors, the laughter, and the connections that made this a one to remember. Okay. So let's start with the gatherings and the atmosphere. Let's talk about that. Personally, to me, I felt they were, like you said, very intimate. We went above and beyond to prepare and celebrate together. It's very warm and full of that familiar energy you only get during Eid. As you know, you fast for 30 days and then you celebrate Eid. This
Mhm.
is the kind where you walk into a room and instantly feel at home.
Yes, exactly. And we make special efforts to replicate it dishes from Singapore and Malaysia because that's where we are from.
Mhm.
And when we do that, it's such a special event because you get the smells. Maybe an equivalent that I can, so that you can relate to is the Christmas smells. The smell of
Food,
Christmas. Yeah,
yes.
exactly. And
Desserts, yeah.
when you prepare the dishes, or when the smell of pine cones and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So for us, the moment we start baking our cookies for it, or raya cookies, and when we start cooking. There's certain food that we specifically make during this time throughout Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore, honestly. Specifically the rendang, the sambal goreng, lontong, or kuah lodeh. So some of this food is very, very, how to put it, reminiscent of the days of when we celebrate it, or when
Right.
our mothers prepare food for it. So we have now replicated that, and we have become our mothers technically, trying to revive that spirit of it through our cooking and our baking. Yeah.
Right. And when we celebrate it, when we visit each other's home, just like over here where we are so used to the term potluck, it is the same for most part here when we celebrate it, whereby everyone brought a little piece of home with them, whether it was a dish or a story or just the way they greeted you with that warm Selamat Hari Raya as you enter their home. Um, I think to me, though, it wasn't just about the dishes itself, it was an act of sharing.
Yes.
Going deeper to that, everyone brought something, everyone contributed, and it should feel like collective effort to
Mm,
reach the home.
exactly. Now, and the understanding, or rather, it's become quite a tradition for us to contribute a dish. This is not done back home in that sense because the usually the host will prepare everything, and you
Right.
just come as a guest. You wander from house to house throughout the day. Here, we don't necessarily do that. Sometimes you get two events in a day, but under normal circumstances, it's just one. And in a way, there is an understanding that you bring something, because we're so far away from home, we all contribute something because you are not particularly good at, everything. So it's very
Especially
much,
this girl. Yes. So
it's
my
very, yeah, it's very
so
much appreciated by the host.
right.
And the spirit of giving and sharing is very, very apparent. And we share to the extent that we invite the local community. Now, this could be your neighbors, it could be your extended family who are non-Muslims, and even friends who are non-Muslim, because that is the spirit of it, which is sharing. You know, sharing your food, sharing your customs, and it's very, very heartwarming, and I find informative for our guests because they don't see this food every day. This is very, very special, and they see our
Mm,
customs and they see our costumes.
right. And they see our costume. Like for example, right now I'm wearing baju kurung. It's a long top with a matching sarong. You know, it's called baju kurung, and Farah has hers. So it's always beautiful when you see women get together. For example, you know, we always feel proud whenever we put on our baju kurung, specifically during Eid, of course. Now, you mentioned about the neighbors, inviting the neighbors or non-Muslim friends to come and join during Eid. This is the part where we recognize the shared stories, because for some of them who grew up in Asia, for example, or even in another area, another country where they are used to have a Muslim neighbors or friends and they got invited by, you know, to join Eid in celebration, that's where the stories start coming in. We share the stories. They share with you their experience, what it was like, the food that they eat, the shared sacrifices, the shared of longing for the home. For me, that is the moment where all of that is held very gently, meaning to say it's a reminiscent of what we went through in the past. It's a storytelling. That's what I personally cherish every time we get together, because you know, you can see some of the pictures. You're going to see a video that I'm going to be sharing in this clip. You're going to see whereby there's a whole bunch of women, the global sisterhood, you know, that continue to celebrate our ethnicities, our stories, and the comfort of being seen. It's very powerful.
Yes,
It's
indeed.
also very grounding, as it reminds us that culture isn't something you leave behind. I felt like once I left Singapore and after mixing with the community, it's something that I carry with me, something that I then share with my daughter, something that grows with me.
Exactly. Now, it is very important for us, the cultural aspect of this in terms of bringing our traditional costumes or wearing our traditional costumes, replicating our food and sharing our food. This is part and parcel of our cultural tradition that we're very proud of. We're very happy to share. Now, a lot of people don't get the opportunity to say to dress up the way we do. We've been lucky because we've traveled back home. Now, you will see some costumes that's a mishmash of a traditional outfit with part of a modern outfit. You know, we have to be able to replicate it in the best way that we can do, and it's bring forth more fashion, more design in a cultural twist to a traditional outfit, which I find very interesting because people get really creative, you know, with what they
Yep.
wear, and they still want the effect of a traditional outfit, but they cannot gain access to 100% traditionality. So they come up with a version of it, which is, you know, very, very nice. And even some of our guests, our foreign guests, are trying, you know, to wear,
Blending.
yes,
Yeah.
to blend in because they find our outfits very, very elegant and very interesting, and they would love to try it. And that is part and parcel of the way we share our culture with others. In that sense, and we are very lucky that we live in an area where people are very willing to try, be it the food, the costumes, or whatever cultural event that we may have, you know, and especially for it, it is even back in Singapore and Malaysia, we open our houses to our neighbors who are non-Muslims. So the same here, I try on my part, and even I have seen my counterparts here opening their houses to uh, people who are from Malaysia and from Singapore who are non-Muslims but who crave the food of Hari
Hmm.
Raya, or who crave that sense of community, to
Right.
be among fellow Singaporeans and Malaysians while we celebrate it.
Right. Now, living abroad can sometimes make you feel like you're drifting,
Yeah.
right? Um, like the pieces of your identity are scattered across continents. Um, Celebration of Eid actually helped to put those pieces back together. I feel that it reminded us of who we are, where we come from, and the communities you mentioned, the communities that actually help to hold us together. So it's not just about creating aid; it was more creating a sense of home.
Mm-hmm.
um, it's about honoring the essence, the unity, the gratitude, and most importantly, the joy. I always look forward to this event because I get to catch up. I get to see other women whom I've not seen in a while. And because of the distance, mind you, sometimes we even have friends that drove 4 hours one way just to
Yes.
attend it
Yes.
because this is a once a year kind of event.
Yes.
So I treasure that kind of effort, that kind of friend who really want to make sure that we all retain this culture.
Yes.
So
And
as
we
far,
really appreciate
oh
we really
yes,
appreciate friends who drive such a long way to get to us to share the food and the company, and to want to expose their children, most importantly, to this aspect of the culture that they do not get otherwise. So they
right.
really, really make efforts to bring their children, and to get a sense of belonging to
Mhm.
the community, which is very, very important for them.
So, as Farah mentioned earlier on, as part of today's episode, we have put together a very short video capturing some of these beautiful moments, the
Mm-hmm.
gatherings, the food, the
Yeah.
laughter, and the colors. Credits to our friends, for capturing everything so beautifully. So, you will see it right after this. And we hope that this video reminds you that wherever you are in the world, your traditions matter, your culture matters, and your community is never too far away.
Exactly. And kudos to our friends who really put in the effort. It is such a heartwarming thing to see when you see people out in the country here dressed up in their raya finery or their Eid clothes.
Yeah.
Traditionally, you get a new set of clothes during Eid. It's a celebration. And you will see the colors and the wonders of the traditional Malay Muslim or Indonesian Muslim or even Indian Muslim outfits that you will see in this captured videos that our friends have put together. And we're very grateful to them for sharing it with us.
Aku datang jauh lah. Ya. Ya. Rendang. Oh, oh.
These are beautiful. Oh, yeah, my own feet, but every night on.
You think like that?
Pas apa? Very, everybody very proper. Bukan roti. Sikit. Baju baru, masuk kilat, rumah tinggal, rasa hebat.
So, to everyone celebrating Eid Mubarak, may your homes be filled with peace, joy, and blessings. And may you always find connection, comfort, and sisterhood, no matter where your life takes you. Until next time, this is Transitions. We'll see you in the next episode.
See ya.